which is the reason they're calling, by the way. Who's ever heard this before? People in life will more likely make a decision to take away pain than to get pleasure. If you've never heard that, that is very business altering for you, possibly. Why? Because you might think that you sell homes. You don't sell homes. People don't buy homes. They're buying what the home will do for them. So what is your job and only job? Find out what that is. Why do you go to a doctor? Something hurts. Guess why they're calling you? Something hurts. So this question here is a very powerful one that most people aren't asking, and that's, what would you alter, improve, or change about living in Mississauga? What would you alter, improve, or change about the home you currently live in? Well, my wife got transferred for work, and so she's been commuting 1 hour every day times 2. Okay? Well, we don't like the schools in Mississauga. What do I now know? They have kids. Guess what? So do I. So what can we do? Connect. See, now I'm a parent, just like them. And isn't it true people like to buy from people like themselves? What are you doing to get a connection with your client?
Ask questions.
Questions are the answers. What would happen if your questions got better? So our philosophy is this: don't focus on the future, focus on the past and the present. What do you like about what you have? What would you change about the area you live in? Well, my wife's commuting 1 hour every day times 2, it's 2 hours. We don't like the schools. What do I know now? Kids and commute, time away from the family. You see how I can tie all this back in and create some urgency at the end? Because my job and your job is to provide a solution. We are all professional problem solvers. That's what we do. You cannot provide a solution for somebody unless they have a problem. So if you can find the problem, they'll be more open to giving you the opportunity to provide a solution. That's called the appointment, right? Okay, now, when you get the appointment, who do you want it with? Somebody who can make a decision. We call them decision makers. Decision makers. Who in this room has ever given the Academy Award winning presentation to the wrong person? Just me? Am I the only one? Unfortunately, and I'm not bragging about this, but I did that a lot. Here's what I was doing. I was taking no from someone who couldn't say yes. I highly recommend and suggest you not take no from someone who can't say yes. But a lot of realtors are doing this. How come? Because their question, when it comes to the decision maker, isn't very good. Let me give you our question, and you can either use it, apply it, or keep the one that you're using now. Your choice. But let me give you our question. And we teach to give you a better chance to close the sale because you're in front of decision makers. Let me give you key verbiage, and I'll give you the whole sentence. In addition to yourself. In addition to yourself. And let me put this in a sentence for you. You guys can fill in the blank when I get to it, okay? This is the participation part. I'm going to ask your help. Okay? In addition to yourself. Keywords. Watch this. If we're fortunate when we meet to find the home to satisfy your needs, would there be anyone? This is the participation part. In addition to yourself involved in making the decision. You guys want to try it again? If we're fortunate to find the home to satisfy your needs, would there be anyone
In addition to yourself.
involved in making the decision? What if I just turned to my client? I put them on a pedestal. I fed their ego. I made them part of the process. And when you do that, what are they more likely to say?
Yes.
Well, you're right. I can make a decision. But I got to talk to my wife. They just took the out. And now you have a chance to what? Get the appointment with the people who need to be there, because now you know. So most people isolate their client instead of include their client. Keywords to include your client in addition to yourself. Other than yourself. Besides yourself. A couple inserts you can use there. Now, if you are in front of people who can make a decision and you do a good job, you have a better chance to make a sale, right? If not, you have to go back and do it again, correct? If they're not a decision maker, you have to go through it twice. You ever had that happen? What if we could avoid that from happening from now on? With one better question before we get there. Yeah? Okay. So hopefully you can see a time saver there. I don't know familiarity with Tom Hopkins here, but he was a realtor. He sold a house a day for a whole year. Y'all good at math? 365 sales in 1 year. All by himself. This was before teams. Now, I kind of told a little bit of a fib. I'm telling you I told you a fib. Here's the fib. He didn't do it by himself. Who was helping him? Happy clients. Who's the best salesperson on your team? Your client. So when you lose a sale, what do you lose? The ability to have other people refer and tell people about you. So how much does it really cost your business to lose a sale? Hard work. You got to go out and work harder. I'm not opposed to hard work, by the way. But why not let someone else sell you? Because aren't they the best salesperson on your team? You need to go you need to go talk to so-and-so. Oh, you're looking for a house? Oh, you're going to list your home? You should go talk to. And now they're selling for you. Right? So what if we could make more sales now? We wouldn't have to work as hard later. Again, I'm not opposed to hard work. But let somebody else work for you. Here's why. When someone else says it, it's true, right? What if you say it? You're in sales, they might doubt you. True? Okay. So, with these questions right here, on an inbound call, do you see how that will be different than everybody else in the area? You bet. Do you see the more likelihood of getting the appointment? Where else could you use these questions? What if you actually have an appointment with somebody? You meet with them, you have an appointment. And you sit down and you talk. What kinds of questions do you ask them? You know what most realtors do? How many bedrooms are you looking for? 3? Okay, 3 bedrooms. How many bathrooms? 3? Okay. Garage? 2-car garage? Okay, 2-car garage. Backyard? Yeah, big backyard? Okay, big backyard. You ever have someone call you and say, does it have a big backyard? You know what most realtors say? Oh yeah, you're going to love it. It's big. You're going to like it. Oh shoot, we don't like yard work. We were looking for a small backyard. Thank you. What just happened right there? The realtor blew it. Why? Because they answered the question and they gave the information instead of answering the question with a question and getting the information. For example, does it have a big backyard? Were you looking for a big backyard? No, we don't like yard work. Looking for a small backyard. Does everyone see how I'm still alive? Before she just hung up. What's one more question in your repertoire worth? Yeah? Okay. So you have an appointment with somebody. I don't recommend how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, garage. I don't recommend that. Why? Because that's what everybody else is doing. And then you get down at the end, you say, what's your price range? They say, well, our price range is $400,000. And you're looking at this list going, don't set yourself up for failure. How about this? Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, there's a lot of inventory out there. A lot of good things. So before we get started, may I ask you a few questions so I could point you in the best direction? What do you think they're going to say? Well, yeah, sure. What are you going to ask them? where you live now, what do you like about where you live? Or what do you like about the house, specifically? Well, I like this, and that. If you could change anything about the home that you currently live in, what would you change if you could? Well, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like... And what did they just give you? The answers. To give the kind of presentation that they need to get from you. See, now they can go like this. Me too, me too, me too. You ever sat through a presentation saying, so what? So what? Who cares? You ever want to clean off your shoes after someone gave you a presentation? It just kind of threw up on you? I call it showing up and throwing up. A lot of people doing that, right? With questions like this, you can give a Me Too presentation. One where the client goes, really? You do that? We talked about that earlier. Now what's happening to value? And if the value exceeds the money, what's the answer? Let's do it. What if the value doesn't exceed the money? No, thank you. I'll do business with someone else, right? And don't you find this to be true in listing presentations as well? If you're going against 3 other companies and they're cheaper, so what? Here's why I say that. Price is once, but cost is forever. Of course somebody can do it for less. So here's my recommendation. Just go ahead and tell them that. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, if you're going to interview 3 realtors, here's what you're going to find. One's going to be most expensive, one's going to be competitive, and one's going to be lowest. Just so you know, I'm not the lowest. You can list with someone else for less. But here's why people list with me. Ding, 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 ding. What have I just done with the money objection? I bragged about it and made it positive. Most people are hiding from it. Don't hide from your percentage. Don't you deserve it? So if you deserve it, ask for it and get it. Why? Because they feel confident in you. If it takes someone 4 months to sell a house and you can do it in 1 month, and they have to pay 4 months of mortgage, price is once, cost is forever, true? Make sure your client understands the difference. Yeah? So anyway, these questions can be used on an appointment. What do you like about where you live? What would you change about where you live? And you'll get the information that you need to set them up for success, not set yourself up for failure. Yeah? Okay. Now, does everyone know they're going to hear the money objection at the end? Every time you've ever sold a house, what did someone say? They just gave you the money? List price? Yes, here it is. What did they do? They negotiated. So is a negotiation important in real estate? It is the highest paid skill you can have.
Can you learn that?
Absolutely. Give people who are smart in negotiating your money, and they will give you ideas in exchange. And then if you go apply those ideas, as we mentioned before, it's not going to help you if you go. What you do with it's what's going to help, right? So, of course you can learn that. Let me give you one thing to consider when it comes to negotiating. Negotiating is not about price. It's about how the client feels about the price. What's your job every day? To get them to feel a certain way. True? Ask the right questions, give the right presentation. Give the right presentation, they feel the way they need to feel to make a decision. Yeah? Okay, but let me give you a quick script when somebody gives you a money objection. Tom's real big into being prepared with responses. So have you guys ever heard I want to think it over? Probably don't hear that one in Canada, right?
No, we don't.
Yeah. So how valuable would it be if you had something better to say when someone said think it over? So you didn't have to actually call them later, you could isolate the true objection while you're there. And that's one of the things Tom teaches, is how to turn a think it over stall into an objection while you're there. It's one example. Let me give you a sample of a script. Let's use the money objection for example. Okay? When someone says, you know, how much is the home? Did you know most realtors say this? The price is $600,000. The home costs $600,000. Two key words there, price and cost. The price, the cost. Watch this. The investment is $600,000. What just happened to the picture? It changed. See, now she's getting something instead of giving something. With me? The investment. What would happen if you changed your vocabulary just a little bit? Tom will give you 8 or 9 words to consider changing from your vocabulary so your client's picture is changed. Sign the contract. What does anyone feel right now when I say this word sign and contract? Binding? Lawyers? Am I doing the right thing? Right? How do you get out of a contract? You have to die? Or get a lawyer? And we like them, don't we? Why would we want to paint that picture when we can paint this picture? Can I get you to authorize the agreement? Can I get you to okay the paperwork? Can I get you to endorse it? May I get your approval? My personal favorite is, can I make you famous and get your autograph? Okay, that works for me. I'm kind of cheesy, so works for me. Take the best, leave the rest. But what if you could change your vocabulary just a little bit in your presentation? And your client's using, or your competition's using all the other words. Price, cost, sign the contract, a monthly payment, down payment. Right? So he'll teach you a bunch of words to consider changing in your vocabulary. But let's go back to the money objection. Sure is expensive. There's 2 reasons they tell you that. Number 1, they don't see the value. Whose job is that? That's yours. Number 2, it's a test. It's only a test. They're trying to see if there's any wiggle room. Don't you do that too? Hope you do. So, what do you say when somebody gives you the money objection? Cost too much. Here's what Tom teaches. I agree. Today things are expensive. Can anybody in this room fight me on this? No? Cool. So there's no argument. You have a soft agreement with your client. A gentle agreement. I agree. Today things are expensive. Now you want to throw it third party. You don't want to say, yeah, I agree this house is too expensive. Okay. I agree. Today things are expensive. Let me give you 13 words to consider. These should give everybody in this room a raise. Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Well, at home seems kind of expensive. I agree, today things are expensive. Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? 13 words, by the way. If you don't have 13 words, copy off somebody who does. Why? Every word is important. You don't want to drop any of them. I'll give you an example. Most people drop the word about. Can you tell me how much too much it is? When you drop the word about, it takes the randomness out of the question. It makes it more of a commitment from your client versus just whatever, I don't know, about. Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? The word feel usually gets dropped for the word think. Changes the dynamics of the question. People can have feelings, that's okay. When you say think, then it becomes a little more serious. Well, right? So can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Okay, let's go with the $600,000 home. They say, wow, it seems kind of expensive. When you say, I agree, today things are expensive, can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Well, you know, we were thinking $580,000. One big mistake a lot of people make is this. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Now, what just happened right here?
I'm getting you 580.
She's getting it for $580,000. Now, she said 580. I said, okay, done. Let's do it. How does she feel right now?